Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's Monday, September 19th, 2016. There's major propaganda in the headlines. The President of the United States gave a speech on this propaganda this morning. This video is to remind the American people that they need to wake up. They need to recognize that the only terrorist in this world that is a threat to us is our own government and the people who run that government, as well as the media that lies to us every single day. The bombings in New York and New Jersey this weekend were carried out by the police and our own government. There is no terrorist boogeyman out there, and I'm going to prove that to you definitively again. Long past due, time to wake up to what's going on in this nation. Look up the original definition of terrorism. It is government by intimidation. That is what we have here in the United States. So these are the headlines this morning: captured. And they have this man that's supposedly shot. They show him in the stretcher, some blood. This is all just like a Hollywood movie. This is all bogus bullshit. Nobody got shot. This person, not a real threat. They're just someone willing to play their part in the lie. They say his name is Ahmad Khan Rahami. Here's how they made up that name. Anytime you get a story or a name in these stories that's a supposed terrorist, that's a bullshit name made up by the numbers, from September 11th to the Boston Marathon bombing to Paris, France, to every other story you've heard about involving Islamic terrorism in the mainstream media. Look at this name. Ahmad Khan Rahami in Gematria sums to 111, just like New York. Very special number to New York City. September 11th is the day that leaves 111 days left in the year. That's what part of the reason New York was hit on September 11th. Last year, the 111th World Series, the New York Mets in it, they only won one game. They won it 3-9. New York, the small way's 39, the big way 111. In Sumerian Gematria, both New York and Ahmad Khan Rahami sum to 666. That's the number of prophecy from the book of Revelation, the 66th book of the Bible. The numbers of prophecy are coded again and again by the Freemasons and Zionist Jews who run this nation. This entire nation has been established out of the book of prophecy, the book of Revelation. That's why the original capital is Philadelphia. Philadelphia takes its name from Revelation, the 66th book of the Bible. This man's name, the small way, Ahmad Khan Rahami, sums to 66, just like Revelation's the 66th book. New York's also the Empire State. Empire equals 66. Freedom, 66. Think about the new Freedom Tower. New York's the 11th state. If you count every number up to 11, it sums to 66. Today's news coming on September 19th, his capture, his name. This date can be written 19/9, September 19th. A lot like the number 199. The number 199 is the 46th prime number. The word chaos equals 46. The Freemasons believe in order out of chaos. That is why they stage these scenes. Bombings, knocking down buildings, stabbing in Minnesota. It's all the same. It's all bogus propaganda bullshit by the numbers. They stage the chaos so that they can say, okay, here's the solution. We're going to militarize our police. We're going to give more funding to military. We're going to go to war with another nation. This is how our entire history has been from the beginning to the present. The first Freemasons who came over here, they duped the people into thinking that the terrorists were the Native American people. And what did they do? They did a genocide of them. It's the same thing, and it's the same gang running the show. The Freemasons, the Jewish banker tyrants. They said he was captured in the Elizabeth neighborhood. Captured and Elizabeth both sum to 88. New York was established July 26, 1788, in a year 88. Remember, 8, it represents the infinite loop. It has to do with time, ongoing cycles. The powers that be, this is what they do. Plot stories by the numbers over the course of time and keep us all moving to their path, their agenda. Let us not forget the words poison and program equal 88. So does the name Trump. Right now, Donald Trump, the New York native, frontrunner in the Republican Party, running for president, speaking out all this propaganda against the false Islamic boogeymen while supporting the Zionist Jews who are the real terrorists. Donald Trump saying he's the biggest supporter of Israel. Israel is part of this agenda. Israel came into existence for the same reason this nation came into existence, because the Freemasons, the Jewish banker tyrants, they want a one world order, and we are realizing that one world order being built further and further each day. They said the bomb in New York City went off on 23rd at about 8:30. The number 83 is the 23rd prime number. NYPD also sums to 23, and I assure you it was the NYPD who planted the bomb in New York and detonated it. And it was probably very much like, one of these movie explosions. Not very lethal, just made to make a scene. Just like they used in Boston. If you missed my work the other day on the 2 bombings, they were big tributes to the Boston Marathon bombing hoax. I'll link those videos in the description. Show you a few more headlines. Before they captured this guy, they had this one up: 3 attacks on U.S. soil. New Jersey, New York, Minnesota. In Gematria, 3 attacks on U.S. soil sums to 199 and 46. Again, 199 is the 46th prime. Chaos, 46. This is staged chaos. Freemasons believe in order out of chaos. Hunting for answers was another headline they put up with the same imagery. Hunting for answers has gematria of 87 and 231, just like Hillary Clinton, the Democratic frontrunner with the New York connections. Remember, the name Clinton originally comes out of New York. The first governor of New York, George Clinton, born 1739, 4th vice president to Madison. Some more headlines on the bombing: intentional act. In that, they code Freemasonry and United States. And remember, the Freemasons, they establish this nation, they run this nation, they control the government, they control the media. This is how they operate, by the numbers. They're builders, they're into mathematics, they're into measurement. This is what it looks like. The New York City bombing, it also happened on a date with 42 numerology. NYC equals 42. 42 is the number of the Freemasons. This is their symbol, the compass and square, instruments of measurement and mathematics. Big G represents 42, math 42, Freemason 42. The Freemasons, the Invisible Architects of Society, the builders, architect 42, building 42, knowledge 42. Freemasons pride themselves on being the keepers of knowledge. If you missed my video on the bombing, I showed how CNN, the first 2 witnesses they interviewed, one said his name was Tim. Tim equals 42. And the other guy said he was an architect. Well, we know architect's 42. When you see people go on mainstream media and give accounts, they are liars. They are paid actors. They might work in your CIA, your FBI. There is a gang of people who are committed to selling us out, and they sell us out every day in the media, in our government, by the numbers. That's why we, the people, need to wake up, and we need to shut it down. There's a lot more of us than them. We could shut this down in 24 hours. 1 million people show up in Washington, D.C., ready to shut things down. It's going to get shut down permanently. And that's what needs to happen. Our federal government's not keeping us safe. They're making this world hell on earth. They've enslaved us. Look at us. We're all working, going to school, being fed lies, working, paying all these taxes. We're not supposed to pay taxes on our income, people, but almost all of us do, because we're cowards, because we're fearful, because we're intimidated, because we don't know what else to do. What we all need to do is wake the fuck up together and shut it down. There doesn't need to be a federal government. Our military's not protecting us from shit. There's no real boogeyman out there. Most of the people in this world are good. Your government wants you to think there's all these threats and scares out there, and you need Big Brother to keep you safe. You don't. Big Brother's not here for your safety. Big Brother's here to fuck you in your ass. Now let's talk about the parallel to the Boston Marathon bombing hoax. The first thing that happened that day, first it was the New Jersey bombing at the Marine Marathon, then it was the New York City trash can bombing, then it was a stabbing in Minnesota, and oh, by the way, this is happening as football season kicks off, and what have I been saying since February? Look for a New York Giants, Minnesota Vikings NFC Championship. They script the sports the same way they script the news, and they pay tributes between them. You have to know to look for it. These people are insane. They run the entire show. Football invented by Freemasonry. All your owners Freemasons. It's all part of the big, sick American show. So remember this, the date of the Boston Marathon bombing was a date with 52 numerology, number of prophecy, doing things by the prophecy code. They picked on the Marine Marathon. Marine's the military branch that has the 33 gematria and number of sacrifice. Marine's always the first to die in military combat. 33 is that number of false flag. They said the bomb went off on the boardwalk, gematria of 33. Let me remind you that the accused bomber of the Boston Marathon bombing, Dozakar Tsarnaev, was born July 22nd, 1993, a date with 33 numerology. The word propaganda equals 93, like his year of birth. Boston Marathon bombing equals 93. They said the bomb that went off in New Jersey exploded at 9:30, 93. The Boston Marathon bombing was on April 15th, the 105th day of the year. The bombing in New Jersey and New York was September 17th, the day that leaves 105 days remaining in the year. Masonry 105, Zionism 105. This is who's responsible. 2 bombs at the Boston Marathon bombing, 1 bomb in New Jersey, 1 bomb in New York, 2 bombs total. From the date of the Boston Marathon bombing anniversary to the date of this bombing was a span of 156 days. That's another number of false flag. When you write out false flag, it equals 156 in Jewish gematria. When you write out 33 as a word, it sums to 156. Remember, false flag, the small way is 33. 1968 in New York City, World Trade Center construction began. 911 made the national emergency dialing code. 33 years later, September 11th happened. George W. Bush also graduated in 68, his birthday July 6, 68 days before September 11th. So if you didn't watch the video I put out, there's a lot more details here, but I'll link it in the description. I don't want to be too redundant. I want to keep this video short enough that people watch it. I'll also put out a video on the Minnesota stabber being ID'd. This is another bullshit story, more propaganda by the numbers. They said he's 22 years old. The word stabber is 22. It happened in St. Cloud, Minnesota, 22. The word stab itself has gematria of 42, just like the date of the attack, the number of the Freemasons. Quoting the same things in the headlines about this story as they did for the bombings. Trash can equals 84, like United States of America. They're saying this guy's connected to ISIS. ISIS has that gematria of 56. It came the night before they opened the new stadium for the Minnesota Vikings for the 56th season of the Vikings. Sam Bradford equals 56. Played his college ball at Oklahoma. Just had the 5.6 major earthquake by the numbers. ISIS also has that gematria of 38, like Minnesota, like US Bank Stadium, the new stadium they just opened, like death. It's all part of a big sick joke by the numbers. We've got to wake up, people. Until next time.